It would have been great if you saw that those those two vehicles from the 1930s. Just drove by. Somebody must have restored them. Really nice. It would have went great with the story of the farmer because you would have seen two restored old vehicles from the 1930s, and then you would have seen the present day electric vehicles right behind them. But I was motivated to make videos about Canada and the Canada farmer because there was a young Ukrainian girl who made a YouTube video about her community, and it was so romanticized that people loved it. They loved the beauty of her romantic story about her community in rural Saskatchewan. But the ironic thing that I found about her video, I don't know how it came onto my feed, it just came up. I selected it to see what was what's going on here. And as she was describing her town and her father's farm, all of the elements of the town, there was a church, there was the local watering hole, there was the place where you bring your wheat, your whatever it is, whatever it is you're growing. And well, I saw through the whole thing. It was a total fabrication of truth and reality. I mean, I guess if you want to be optimistic about what it is that you're doing, you want to tell a story that has a positive spin, and the hard truth of it, we don't need to hear about any of that. We're just going to tell the nice story of how our community is so nice and our village is nice. How we got a hard work ethic, and we've worked this farm for 2, 3 generations, 7 generations, whatever it is. Working 14-hour days, just like I do in the truck. More than that, actually. You're allowed to drive for 13 hours, but you do far more than just drive. Sometimes we end up working 16 hours a day. Sometimes 18, because some of those hours don't get recorded. But anyways, you feel sorry for the farmer after hearing all about all this hard work that they do, and they don't even make any money. They're just breaking even every year. The farmer's always breaking even. It's just a sad story. They never make money. So they borrow a whack load of it, then they got to pay it all back, and then all it did was pay for the bills and pay for a living, which I suppose is fine. That's what we're all doing, right? One thing I noticed about driving through these towns are all these little houses that people are living in. There's almost never or rarely any big grand houses that you would see in the super rich, where the super rich are living. We don't even know where they're living because all we ever see are these small little houses. 3 bedroom, maybe 4 bedroom. If you have a big family, you get a 6 bedroom house. And you got to feed all those kids, and you got to pay all for all of those bills to keep that house warm and to run a household. And so you better have a good income. But the truth and reality is we're just common folk down here. We're all just lowly common folk sharing the dream of being Canadian, of being free and liberated. We're living in the land of opportunity, but the best all us lowly common folk can do is a 3-bedroom home with internet, satellite TV maybe, cell phones, gaming systems to keep our kids happy, get them involved in sports. That's it. That's our life in Canada. And we all share it. Like 99% of us are sharing that life. Well, maybe I exaggerated. Maybe it's 95%. But there is a small percentage of people who are truly living the dream in Canada. And the wealth distribution, as you have heard often, is with the elite, the bankers, the people who inherited wealth. So the truth and reality about Canada is we're all poor. We're all poor. And at the rate of inflation, we're all just breaking even, just like the farmer. Binns Karth in 1 kilometer. This is the Binns Karth. It sounds German. I'm only taking a guess here. It's based on my experience of growing up in the North End among lowly common folk North Enders like Ukrainians and Germans and Italians and Greeks. There weren't too many English people in the North End. They lived in a whole other neighborhood. And I got videos on YouTube that talk about that. I even show you some of those neighborhoods. Man, I don't know what you know, but look at this Esso. It's just breaking even. All it's there doing there is paying its bills for itself. And that's what it's coming to. We're at the end of the drought here. And the story is in the news is these farmers are going to suffer, which means we're all going to suffer. Are you able to see what's going on out there? Burnk Farms. Burnt Farms. Burnke. What is that? German? Well, I would invite you to go and grab an atlas of Canada, one of the road atlases like we use, and just look around at all the names of all the different towns, and I can guarantee you what you will find is and are communities that are based on ethnicity. So you're going to find a German community. They're not going to be too mixed in with Ukrainians, because the Ukrainians, they like to stick with themselves. And you're going to find Ukrainian communities, towns and villages. You're going to see Ukrainian names. You're going to see German names. Not too many Italian names. Not too many Greek names, but you might see some. But where you find the English and the French names on those atlases, you're going to find that they're located in some of the best places where you would ever want to have an agricultural industry. Because they won the war. And they get to decide who gets what, and they gave themselves the very best. It's not fair. It's not fair, is it? We're supposed to all have an equal chance, but we don't. Ukrainians do have a better chance than Italians. That's the fact. And they act like it too, some of them. See, with race identity, white identity, the white race, like the story is already there. So if you got the blonde hair, the blue eyes, and the fair skin, you can identify as white, which puts you in a far better position in Canada. So Canada is based on inequality. It's not based on equality. It's based on inequality. What the Ukrainians have inherited and what they've grown and produced and developed here, and you're looking at it. I'm driving all over Canada showing it to you. Is only what they've been allowed to produce. And if they had better investment, they would do better. But because they're Ukrainian, and these are Ukrainian farms, nobody wants to invest in them because of the stereotypes that inform the racist ideology they have of themselves, the white race. So this is as good as it gets for Ukrainians. It's not going to get any better. And for us lowly of the lowest of the low, we're even lower than the black people. The black people are doing better than Aboriginal people. They're healthier, they live longer, they're happier. I'm talking about black people in comparison with Aboriginal people. In every demographic, they're doing better than Aboriginal people. They're better educated. They're given more opportunity than Aboriginal people. The Ukrainians are clearly doing better than the black people in Canada. English people are doing the best, but they're doing better than the French people. This is ethnic relations in Canada. What I don't understand is how you can accept that, how you find that acceptable. How is it that you keep talking about equality, but you find that this is acceptable for you? You are unable to see what your parents are going through in terms of what they had to do to produce the farm that they have, where they're always just breaking even. The farmers here are now allowed to shoot First Nations people. There's a green light on them. How you find that acceptable? It's like I know how you find it acceptable. I'm asking you how you could find it acceptable. Because this is as good as it gets for you, Polish people. This is as good as it gets for the Germans and the Russians in Canada. It's not going to get any better. You're not going to progress. You're not going to get wealthier. You're not going to build an empire for yourself. You are locked in the system. The system is based on itself. It makes the rules. And yet, everyone is jumping on the bandwagon of white identity in Canada, the farmer. Pardon me. You know, we here in Canada, like I could pull over and I could go into like the SOE pass back there. I could buy a coffee, and the relationship between me and the people in that store and the people that are in this area is balanced on peace, maintaining peace. But there is a wickedness and an evil. There is devilry hidden behind that peace, and it's called discrimination. And I'm guilty of it. I have implicit bias because I've been programmed. I'm a recovering racist, a gratefully recovering racist. But there are people here who are racist and they don't even know it. They're in a complete denial about it. And so yeah, we're going to Saskatoon. We're going to deliver this load tonight. And the ironic thing is it's probably farm equipment for farmers and their families and their children. And I'm of indigenous descent. I can identify as Métis, which is, like as I explained, a legal term. It doesn't mean that I am it that being Métis is me. It doesn't mean that. I don't have to believe in it. I can identify as Indian legally, but I'd have to fill out all the papers and apply for that. It doesn't mean that I am that. It just means that I have a legal application, a legal claim that has rules that outline my rights and privileges as a person of Aboriginal descent that is enshrined in the Canadian Constitution if I want. I could stay Métis. The thing is I know that Ukrainians can't do that. They'd have to prove it. And they're trying to, actually. They seem to think that there's some kind of benefit to being identified as an Indian, and there is no benefit for it. Trust me. You don't want any of this. If you're Polish, if you're Jewish, if you're German or Russian or Italian or Greek, Czechoslovakian. I always forget about the Czechoslovakians. I forget about the East Indians, the Pakistanis, the Hindus. I forget about the Latin American people from down south and the indigenous people from down south. But you're all here, and you're all benefiting from the colonization of Canada. And so, should I be happy for you? should I should I say, well done? You guys really pulled the wool over our eyes. Yeah, yeah. We sold you Manhattan for $10. Wasn't I wasn't a part of that group, but it's a story. It is a story, isn't it? You're all laughing about that one. You think, oh fuck, we got Manhattan for $10. And if you can identify as white, well then you can identify as with all the good feelings associated with that story. But that's why I like telling stories, because they reveal the truths and realities, or they can tell you lies. And in Canada, our public education system just spills out the lies to the children and corrupts them. We lie to our children in every public education system, in every province, in every jurisdiction, in every city. Wherever there's a school, it is full of lies to children. I don't understand how you could live with that. Except that I know that you believe it. You believe the lies. You don't think they're lies, but they are. You don't think you're racist, but you are. How can you not be? I've just told you the story. No, that's what I hear. I can hear it. So, that's the story I tell. I'm lucky to be driving this truck. I'm lucky to be able to work for this company. It's turning out to be one of the finest companies I've ever worked for. It's like the dream job. I don't want to be driving truck. I wasn't meant for driving truck. I was meant to tell these stories and help colleges and universities implement human rights and employment equity law into their systems. But they rejected me, and they rejected these stories. So I've taken to YouTube and Twitter and other social media for that, for the purpose of telling the story of the appropriation of land and resources in Canada and the racist system that allows wholesale genocide of indigenous people. That's what farms are to me. That's what I think about when I see farms. So in this last few seconds of this YouTube video, I want to invite you to stick with me, because I'm going to switch gears on this YouTube channel. I'm going to talk about Aboriginal youth empowerment and anti-gang strategies as I drive through Canada with you and show you what Canada is really like, what it's really like to be Canadian. If you come here, you are coming here, and you are coming here to exploit indigenous people. That's what you're going to be doing when you get here. But I think the owner of the company that I work for is doing something different. I think what the owner is doing is the owner is taking initiative. Taking initiative means to take upon oneself, to take responsibility, to take action. I believe the owner of this company is taking action, specific action, by giving back what's been given to him, to them. I think that that's what's happening. I have a feeling that this person recognizes the immense wealth and power that they wield. And this person is aware that there is more than enough wealth and power to share. And that's what this person is doing. I think that this person understands the concept of reconciliation. You could all learn from this person. I'm not going to tell you his name or their name because it's not just one person. But you could learn from this one. This one is bright and aware. And if more people understood that, you could build an empire and take what you need from that empire. And if you share the rest of it, because there's more than enough to share. If you could do that, then reconciliation is done. If you can do that, then you'll be honoring the treaties. Because whatever it is that you believe about us, you did make a treaty. You did make promises. Whatever you believe about us, believe in your own words. Believe in your own laws. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt anyone. So I think I'm done with the farmer. I could give you a reading list, and I promised to do that on the YouTube. And I'll do that. But I encourage you to read Howard Palmer's book. Go find it. I'll read it to you. But I'm going to focus in on Aboriginal youth empowerment now. I got some ideas. You might want to hear them. I think we have some solutions here. But it's going to require some help. we're gonna need to share some resources and some wealth and power. So I believe you can do it. I believe in you. You've got what it takes to be human. So let's do this together.